All right, everybody, today is going to be a video covering kind of news, updates, the things that are going on in the game. So currently, there is a 10x event that just started, and I'm going to give my opinion on that. They prolonged the fusion as well, so we're going to be talking about the prolonged fusion as well as should you go for the fusion, etc. And some of the events. There's a lot of events going on in the game. We're just going to do kind of a general run through on all of that real quick and give my current opinion as well as if it's worth it or not to do it. So here we go. Let's get into the video. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and talk about the in-game news. So the first thing we need to talk about is that the new fusion has been prolonged, meaning Rodus. And the Rodus fusion is actually pretty good. If you look at him here, I'm getting kind of close. I just need Coffin Smasher. The character himself is a good character. So if you guys are getting close to this at all, I would consider trying to get him during the prolong if this is what you need. The problem is the events are kind of hard, okay? So like if you look at these events, the champion training event is rough. You need 18,000 points for Fencer. I'm sure that's going to be the most difficult one for most people. You only have 2 more days. You need 1,700 points for Tender, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to, have her swipe right into your... Can I click out of this? Oh, holy moly there. And then Arena I saw here, it's all the way at the very end, 150 points. That one's not too bad, though. Artifact Enhancement event I managed to do, but I did prepare for it. I had level 15s already. They are giving away the characters to people who were banned. They said that the people that were banned during the event. So, like, for instance, if you were banned all the way up until, let's say, today, the 20th, you would receive all of the rares from, like, the 20th, 14th, 18th, all the ones that were during the time you were banned, you will receive all of those rares for free to make up for that fact. And then they're going to prolong the fusion on top of it. So now it goes all the way to March 6th. So a lot of these people who were banned are going to get a lot of characters for free. I mean, I say for free, but it's in reality, the fact is they got boned with getting banned, okay? But these people who, if you're one of the people who got unbanned, you got the rares from this, maybe give it a shot if you can, because I think this character is actually really good. Now, the other thing you could do here, before we start talking about the 10x event, before we wrap up on the fusion, is if you want, you could just try to fuse this girl here. She's quite good. Sentinel is a very strong character just in Jimro here. It's kind of like a Tayrao. Some people think it's better. Where is she? Pow, there she is. All right. And she may very well be. She has decreased attack on basic. You have decreased defense and block debuffs on everyone. I mean, that's a pretty good character, completely blocking incoming damage, et cetera, et cetera. So you could just try to fuse her. I would highly recommend that if you can. Now, enough about the fusion. Let's go ahead and talk here briefly about True Love Trumps All. So from Friday to Tuesday, they are doing a 10x chance of summoning basically Mr. Coronavirus and Minyanya. This is just a copyright infringement on Beauty and the Beast, basically, the new movie. So that's what these guys are. And Ancients, Voids, and Sacreds, normal shard rates, but if you get a legendary, it's a 10x chance to pull these guys in their respective shards. Got it? It's pretty much that simple. Now, I highly recommend not chasing these characters. If you actually look at the characters themselves, this character, unless I'm just flat wrong, TV, please. Unless I'm just flat wrong, which has been known to happen, I don't see this character being good in any shape and form. It has a very bad aura. It's 19 speed in all battles. That's very low for a legendary. I don't really care about this. I mean, filling turn meters of your allies if they're killed. I can maybe see building this character with something weird like a Raglan or something that revives her commonly with max turn meter, and then she goes and I don't know, something weird like you would do with the Soul Drinker. I don't really care. I think she's bad. Personally, I'm just going to say that I think she's bad. And if we go to her partner here, I don't really think it gets much better. I mean, he's better than the other character because it's an AoE attack, which decreases turn meter, and he can attack twice if he has her on the team, but you have to have both of them. So in order for him to like suddenly get better, you have to have a bad character on your team. And then this move here, which is placing Provoke on all your enemies, but then he places block debuffs and increased defense buff on himself, basically. So he's not buffing his other people. And then he only removes all debuffs from himself if the bad character is once again on the team. So Again, I'm not a fan. And then he attacks all enemies, which this move here, if you read this, this is the same as Tomb Lord's move, but Tomb Lord's move is actually better because he gets a bonus turn and it resets someone's turn meter. Personally, I think this is a bad character. I'm not really a huge fan. I guess he has a counterattack all the time built in, and you get increased defense. But even this is not a well thought out move because he has an AoE attack. So if you're like nuking through waves to kill people to, you know, get to the end boss or where you nuke a wave, you kill some people with your AoE, then you increase defense for everybody. Well, you just killed the wave with your AoE if you nuked it through. So I don't really, I don't really see how this is that useful. And obviously in clan boss, you're not killing anything. So, and I don't really see him being super fantastic in, I mean, maybe okay in arena, but let me just put it this way. I don't feel it. And then these are the ones that they want you to use all your shards during Navi 2X. So in my personal, unprofessional opinion, work on the fusion because the fusion character is actually good and you might have a chance. And this character is good as well. If you just want the epic, but don't get baited into this 10x chance because your odds of actually getting it are astronomical. I mean, you guys saw me chasing Dracomorph during the 10x for that, and it didn't happen, right? Same thing's going to happen to you. Highly recommend not chasing it. Okay, so let's talk about whether the other epics are worth keeping as well, because I've mentioned this character is great, right? Everyone has been talking about her, but the other ones, let's see, are they good or not? So here's an Azure, attacks an enemy 2 times, places a stun debuff if the target has an increased speed buff, so not so hot, right? Conditional stun. So then this is a ally protection on all allies except himself, but places a shield buff on him for 40% of the champion's max HP for 2 turns. This buff cannot be removed. That's actually not that bad considering it goes down off 4-turn cooldown, and you could just build him with a lot of health. And then he attacks an enemy, places an extra hit. If the target has a stun, this extra hit is always critical, and that's not a very good move either. So he has one kind of okay protection move, definitely not enough to build him around that at all. So personally, Azur's not really going to be worth it. He's got an aura that's kind of okay, maybe early game if that's what, you happen to pull this guy or something. But yeah, not worth it personally. I don't think worth it. And then we have Fang Cleric. I got to say, Fang Cleric is obviously a reskin of Spider, but the reskin looks very nice. I think very nice indeed. I really like the colors, the purple. I don't know. I'm a sucker for purple. I think purple and gold looks nice. So basic attack's pretty good. It's like a Lysandra basic attack, basically. 100% chance of transferring, when booked, a debuff from this champion to the target. That's the same as Lysandra. If I show you here, her basic attack transfers all debuffs from the champion to the target. More or less the same. This guy here, does one random debuff, so it's the epic version of that. And then this one here is a 2-turn cooldown when booked, which is pretty close. And then if he was an ally, 20% of this champion's max HP also fills the target's turn meter by 30% if they are fully healed by this skill. Places a veil buff on the target for 1 turn if they are not fully healed by this skill. So if he isn't built tanky, then he veils somebody, but if he is built tanky, then he basically gives a nuke health on a short cooldown. Kind of like an apothecary move. He's kind of a mix so far of apothecary and Lysandra is kind of what he seems to me. And then this move here revives a dead ally, 4-turn cooldown when booked. Dead ally, 30% HP, then fills their turn meter by 30%. Also places an unkillable buff on the target for 1 turn and a 15% continuous heal buff for 2 turns. I think that's not bad either. He's kind of an interesting character, actually. I think all of these moves are good. All 3 of these are good moves. I don't really have a thought in my head of this being like a completely busted character or anything, but these are all good moves. And then he increases ally speed in all battles by 15%. We just saw one of the 10x characters, Minya, is like 19%, so it's not even that far off. I think that this guy might be worth it if you have the rares. If we go take a look here and you fuse this guy, right? If you're able to get the rares for him, he might actually be worth it, whereas like Azure is not. So these 2 in the middle, definitely worth it. Sky Touch Shaman, I'm kind of 50-50 on her because like her basic attack I think is good, right? It's an AoE, can heal her or boost her turn meter. That's great. It removes all debuffs from all allies. This is great. Revive on death buff and block debuff. I mean, that's all magnificent, right? But then this is where it gets weird. Damages the champion by 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. Heals all allies otherwise accept this champion equal to half of the HP loss. That would be fine. But then places a 30% decreased speed debuff on this champion for 1 turn at the start of each turn, and also has a 50% chance of placing a fear debuff on this champion for 1 turn. So half the time she's just going to do nothing, and that's her passive, which is really kind of weird, to be honest. It ruins an otherwise, I think, aesthetically pleasing character. And that's kind of unfortunate. So personally, I would say the 2 here in the middle are worth it. Maybe she's worth it, but I think Coffin Smasher himself is almost better than Sky Touch Shaman, just because if you look at the basic attacks here, I mean, you can get yourself a 30% chance on your hitting 3 times for a decreased attack. That's really good for a rare. And then the second move here is an HP burn. Obviously, that's good for Clan Boss, and then decreases the damage enemies inflict with AoE attacks by 5%. That's also good. So you're reducing your damage to your team too. He's an all-around fantastic Clan Boss character. So for me, personally, I would say keep Coffin Smasher and these 2 if you're not completing the fusion. That's what I would do. All right, everybody. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, I hope this information was informative or helpful. At least if it was, consider giving the video a thumbs up and a subscribe if you would like to see another video from me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye now.